Welcome back to another episode of Commander on Curve, where we build smarter, not pricier. I'm Pat, and today we're going to talk about one of my favorite 1v1 decks. It has won a few games with multiple people, but it's just really more the casual 1v1. It is a Voltron deck with Galea, Kindler of Hope. She's a 4-cost, 1 green, white, and blue, 4/4 with Vigilance. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast aura and equipment spells from the top of your library. And when you cast an equipment spell, using her ability, you get to auto-equip that equipment to a creature without paying the equip cost. So, let's get into the deck. Oh, we have a lot of equipment in this deck. Our first one we're going to talk about is Argentum Armor. Yes, it's a 6-drop, but we have cards that can lower that cost very easily, and we're not hurting for lands. The equipped creature gets +6/+6, and whenever it attacks, destroy target permanent. And it says equip 6, we don't usually have to worry about the equip cost. But yeah, all your creature has to do with this attached is attack, and you get to destroy a target permanent. Whisper Soak Cloak. This gives whatever creature Unblockable and Shroud, equip 2. Nettle Cyst is a living weapon, so we do get a germ token when this comes out, but for right now, let's focus on the text. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control, equip 2. If your little germ dies and that guy gets on it, if that guy gets on another creature, that is going to buff the crap out of your whatever creature you're working on smacking people around with. We have the Maul of Skyclaves. When this one enters, it auto-equips. Very nice. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 in flying and first strike. It's very helpful. We have a oldie but goodie, Behemoth Sledge. This came with the precon. Equipped creature gets +2/+2, has trample and lifelink. The trample and lifelink definitely helps keep our life total safe and get damaged through. Black Blade Reforged. 2-drop, equipped creature you control gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Usually we're auto-equipping this, but in case you don't have any of the auto-equips out, equip legendary 3, equip 7 for a normal creature. A Mirror Shield for those pesky Death Touch decks. It's a cheap card. Equipped creature gets +2/+0 and has hexproof, and whenever this creature blocks or becomes blocked by a creature with Death Touch, that creature gets destroyed. So that's pretty helpful. Hexproof is pretty good too. We have Conda's Banner. It can only be attached to a legendary creature, and creatures that share a color and a creature type with it get a +1/+1. We do have a few knights and a few elves in here, so this would hopefully be attached to Galea. And obviously it's commander, so all the creatures are in her colors. Pretty good. It's a 2-drop. Robostars gives +0/+3 and has an ability. Pay 1 and a white. Equipped creature phases out. This takes all the stuff that's attached to your creature with it. And some protection, and you don't have to lose your auras or your equipments. Swiftfoot Boots, hexproof and haste. We all know that one. Wing Boots. Equipped creature has flying and ward 4. The ward is super annoying, so I put this in there. That's also a 2-drop, so I like it. Dragonfire Blade. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has hexproof from mono-colored. The equip is 4, but it costs 1 less to activate for each color of the creature it targets. So if we're going after Galea, it's only going to cost 1. We have the Colossus Hammer, or the Shovel of Decapitation. 1-drop artifact gives creature +10/+10 and loses flying. The equip is 8, but we're usually hoping to see this on top of our library so that we can look at it with Galea and play it for 1 and auto-equip it to something that's doing work. Basilisk Collar, it's a 1-drop. Equipped creature has Death Touch and lifelink. And a Shadow Spear. Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample and lifelink, and pay 1. Permanents your opponent's control lose hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. That can be very useful. Even if it's not attached to a creature, that can help us. Let's get into the big equipments. We have 11 swords. I'm going to use the word pro to replace protection because it's less words for me to say. We have the Sword of Hearth and Home, pro green, pro white, and it has an ability when you connect with combat damage. Basically, exile one target creature you own, then search your library for a land, a basic land, then both cards come back into play under your control. Then you shuffle. Sword of War and Peace, pro red, pro white. Whenever an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, the Sword of War and Peace deals damage to that player equal to the number of cards in their hand, and you gain 1 life for each card in your hand. Just for the record, protection, you follow the DET acronym, D-E-B-T. Protection means the creature can't be dealt damage by that color, it can't be enchanted by that color, can't be blocked or targeted. Sword of Body and Mind, pro green, pro blue. Whenever this creature deals damage to a player, or the equipped creature, whatever, you get a 2/2 green wolf token, and that player mills 10 cards. Sword of Once and Future, pro blue, pro black. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, surveil 2, then you may cast an instant or sorcery spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost. If that spell would be put into your graveyard, exile it instead. Sword of Feast and Famine, equipped creature gets +2/+2, has pro black and pro green. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, that player discards a card and you untap all your lands. Sword of Fire and Ice, +2/+2, and protection from red and blue. Equipped creature, when it deals damage to a player, this deals 2 damage to target creature or player, and you draw a card. Sword of Sinew and Steel, I'll get a little closer so you can read it. +2/+2, pro black, pro red. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, destroy up to 1 target planeswalker and 1 target artifact. It's pretty good. Sword of Truth and Justice, +2/+2. As always, protection from white and blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control, then proliferate. Sword of Wop, or Wealth and Power. Protection from instants and sorceries, +2/+2. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you create a treasure token, and when you next cast an instant or sorcery spell this turn, copy it. You may choose a new target. Sword of Forge and Frontier, +2/+2, pro red, pro green. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play those cards this turn. You may play an additional land this turn. It's pretty good. Sword of Light and Shadow, +2/+2, pro white, pro black. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, you gain 3 life, and you may return up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. We have the swords, and they're really good. Now, they are all 3 mana cost, and we do have some cards that lower the cost of our artifacts or equipments. Let's get into the creatures. Our first creature coming out, the Reality Chip. I chose to display this one first because it's a very similar card to Galea. When this is equipped to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. So we have Galea, who says we can auto-equip equipments and play auras from the top of our library. Now we're casting spells and playing lands from the top of our library. That's incredible. And if our creature dies, this comes back as a 0/4. So hopefully we can get it back onto something else, or get Galea back out. This guy's really, really, really great. The Golden Tail Trainer, 3-drop, aura and equipment spells you cast cost X less, where X is Golden Tail Trainer's power. When it attacks, other modified creatures you control, so anything with 1/1 counter on it, equipment or aura, gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is Golden Tail Trainer's power. So we put a sword on him, he becomes a 3/5. Bam! All of our swords are now for free. We can play them for free. We get them onto the top of our library, they're free. They're auto-equipping, they are doing the Lord's work. An Angel of Finality, it is just some of our Air Force, for lack of better words. When it enters the battlefield, exile all cards from target player's graveyard. Basically a white Bojuka Bog that flies. Kodama of the West Tree. It's a 3/3 with reach. Modified creatures you control have trample. That's the important thing with this guy. And whenever a modified creature you control deals combat damage to a player, search your library for a basic land card and put it on the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. Envoy of the Ancestors. It's a 2/3. It has Outlast, 1 white, and it allows our modified creatures to have lifelink, which is incredible. Because once we start doing some damage with the swords, we are getting a huge bullseye painted on our backs. Knight of Autumn, kind of a utility creature. It can chump block, it's a 2/1, but when it enters the battlefield, we have the option of 2/1/1 counters, destroy target artifact or enchantment, or gaining 4 life. Whichever one we need at that time, we're keeping it. Cold Eye Selkie has Island Walk. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you draw that many cards. Put a couple swords on this guy, make him a 7/7. You're drawing 7 cards, playing lands. If everything else is going to plan, you have the reality chip going. Oh man, you are doing work. This guy from Final Fantasy, he's pretty cool. I traded for it. Adalbert Steiner. He's a 2-drop, 2/1 with lifelink, but he gets 1/1 for each equipment you control. So if we have a couple equipment out, like the swords or the other dudes, we are getting a buff with this guy. We're gaining life. We're chump blocking and gaining life. It's just, why is this so good? And it's uncommon. For some card draw, we have SRAM. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. I do not have vehicles in this deck, but I do have a lot of auras and equipment. So we have an engine. We have the Pure Steel Paladin, or Ash. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. Metalcraft. As long as you have 3 or more artifacts, your equip cost is 0. That's awesome. And he's a 2-drop. That's insane. Alright, this guy here, we have a Fleeceman Lion. You know, everyone needs a pet cat. It's a 3/3, and when it becomes monstrous, so you pay that ability, 3 in Selesnya, you put a 1/1 counter on this guy, and it becomes monstrous. And when he is monstrous, he has hexproof and indestructible. He can be really annoying to other people. This is kind of a pet card in the deck. Wilson, the Refined Grizzly. It is a 2/2. It is a 2-drop. It can't be countered, and it has Vigilance, Reach, Trample, and Ward 2 without any equipments on it. So we get some equipments on him. He is doing the Lord's work. Another cat, Bronzehide Lion. This guy's a 3/3. And he can gain indestructible until end of turn, but he has a dual purpose. If he dies, he comes back to the battlefield as an aura that allows the creature that we attach it to have that ability. Pay 1 green, pay 1 white, and get indestructible until end of turn. But it does lose its abilities if we use it. We have a 2-drop here, Illuminator Virtuoso. 1/1 with double strike. Whenever it becomes a target of a spell you control, it connives. So if we're putting some of the auras on this guy, we're going to get to use this whole draw card, then discard a card. If you discard a non-land card, you put a 1/1 counter on this creature. And double strike's pretty good. Paradise Druid. It has hexproof as long as it's untapped. It's a 2-drop. It taps for 1 mana of any color, and it's a 2/1. Kind of a chump blocker, kind of a mana fixer, and the hexproof is really helpful. Old Growth Dryads. I kind of wanted to go for low CMC in this deck so I could have stuff to put artifacts and things on just to do some damage early. This is supposed to be a quick deck. Does not have a super late game, but look at this. 1 green for a 3/3, and we end up giving someone a basic land, so it's not that terrible. Stonecoil Serpent. It's an X cost. It has Reach, Trample, Protection from Multicolored, and it enters the battlefield with 1/1 counters on it. So we get the sword that proliferates. We get to put some more counters on him. It's Protection. It has Reach. It has Trample. And it's just overall really good. We can play it early. We can play it late. And one of my favorites for some evasion. Bam! Venerated Rot Priest. Toxic 1. Whenever a creature you control becomes target of a spell, target opponent gets a poison counter. Now, say we're able to get that sword that lets us proliferate. That's kind of a threat to some people. People might try to target stuff. We're going to get cards. Not cards. We're going to give out poison counters. I was reading the wrong card. It's just a good one. And it's a 1/2, so we can start stacking on some some equipments and just start the whole Voltron process. It's going to go through our very limited amount of board interaction. The deck is mostly designed on this ability. Looking at the top card of our library, picking something good to put there, and then playing it with an auto-equip so we can use it immediately. So, we have a brainstorm. Draw 3, then put 2 cards from your hand back on top of your library in any order. That's going to help with her ability. We have here Serum Visions. Draw a card, scry 2, so we can kind of prep the top of our library. We have here Sensei's Divining Top. Look at the top card. Look at the top 3 cards of your library, and then put them back in any order. Tap to draw a card, then put this back on top of the library. So we have ways to get things and kind of figure out where the top of our library needs to be. For some ramp, we have a Soul Ring, an Arcane Signet, and a couple of... We have 1 tutor for our equipments. Hopefully you get this early, because you can figure out what color is going to be your contender on the board you're playing, and you can find a sword that shares a color with your enemy's commander deck. We have here Dramoka's Command. We get to pick 2. Prevent all damage. Target instant or sorcery spell would do this turn. Target player sacks an enchantment. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature. Target creature you control fights target creature you don't control. We're going to have a big creature, so we can pick that and basically ping something off the board. Some protection. Heroic Intervention. Permanents you control gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. And Winds of Wrath. You never know. Hopefully you don't get this card too early. But destroy all creatures that aren't enchanted. They cannot be regenerated. So there's our board wipe. Now we're at the auras. And I think there's I have 1 enchantment. Sigarda's Aid. You may cast aura and equipment spells as though they had flash. Whenever an equipment enters the battlefield under your control, you may attach it to target creature you control. This is part of Galea's ability, and we have the other one, the reality chip. These 3 cards together, basically we're just playing stuff off the top of our library. Hopefully we have a Golden Tail out, and things are cheap, or they're free. We're equipping things so fast, at instant speed. As for the auras though, Breeding Meld, this is a card I put in here I kept in here. The Mantle of the Ancients. When you enchant your creature, and this enters the battlefield, you get to return any number of target aura and or equipment cards from your graveyard to the battlefield attached to this creature. You don't want to pick anything with protection from white because then this falls off. Your enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each aura and equipment attached to it. That's pretty cool. Kind of a game ender, depending on if you're 1v1 or if you're in a free-for-all, but it's still good. Rancor, most people know this guy. Create a creature, gets +2/+0 and has trample. When this goes away or it falls off a creature, it goes to the graveyard. It actually goes back to our hand, so we can keep playing it. We can keep triggering SRAM and drawing cards. Keep triggering Pure Steel Paladin, drawing cards. It's good. 1 drop. Lots of value in that one. We have a Lion Umbra. You have to enchant a modified creature, which isn't hard to do in this deck, but it gives our creature +3/+3, and Vigilance, and Reach, and Umbra Armor. If our creature would die, we just sacrifice this. Our creature stays. This goes away. Cartouche of Knowledge gives our creature flying, and when this ETBs, we draw a card. And there's a +1/+1 buff. 2 drop. Eel Umbra, this is a flash speed aura. Enchant creature gets +1/+1 and totem armor. If our creature would die again, this gets sacrificed and or destroyed, and our creature stays. This is an aura for our lands. It draws us a card and gives our land, kind of filters out into any color we need. Angelic Gift draws us a card and gives our creature flying. Staggering Insight enchants our creature with a 1/1 buff, lifelink, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. All That Glitters. It enchants a creature, and it gets a 1/1 for each artifact and or enchantment you control. So, we're going to have a lot of those. This 2 drop's going to make something at least a +8/+8, depending on where you're at in the game. And Fertile Ground. It's a 2-drop aura. It's not that great, but it's good enough because whenever we enchant a land with this, it adds an additional mana of any color. So essentially we get 1 color of whatever we have already, and then 1 color of what we need. We're fixing mana for 2. And we're triggering SRAM. It's just incredible how fluid this runs. Starting with some of the lands. We have this card. It's not great, but it does let us look at the top 3 cards and put them back in any order, which fixes us up for Galea, so we kept it in. We have an Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse, and only 5 basic lands. We want this deck to be quick, so I did put some time into the mana fixing. We got a Blast Zone, which has we put charge counters on it and then sacrifice it down the road and kill everything with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on it. We have a Port Town, gives us blue and white. Texting Tower, pay 1, and then all of our opponent's stuff loses hexproof and can be the targets of spells and abilities we control. The Roadside Reliquary, we will usually control an artifact and an enchantment, so we can pay 2, sack this, and draw 2 cards. Some mana fixing, Panorama, Temple Garden, Spire of Industry, City Brass, Command Tower. So this is all of our 3 color stuff. Seaside Citadel. We also have Rivendell and Minas Tirith in here. So we get to scry 2 and draw cards if we're attacking. Lumbering Falls is a man land, also taps for Simic. Fortified Village for green and white. We have a couple filter lands. Pay 1 generic, which is why I picked these, and we can tap them for 2 colors. We got a couple pain lands. We get our Azorius and Simic. These 2/1 damage. 1 scry land. And then we have these, which are the cards that enters tapped unless you control 2 or fewer. Plans are an island, check lands, 2 or more other lands, 2 or more basic lands, 2 or more basic lands, 2 or more other lands. We usually have 2 or more other lands, so we're good there. And then we have, last but not least, the Branchloft Pathway. It taps for green or white. So that's the deck. It is super fun, very consistent. It runs pretty well. I have found that the only enemy of this deck is lots of AoE removal. So that's the video. If you enjoyed it, please feel free to comment, subscribe, like the video. It really helps out the channel. And I just hope that if you do go and buy this precon, it's really great out of the box. I highly recommend it. It's super fun. I just kind of went a more quick route with it. And sadly, you know, there isn't really a late game thought. But usually we don't get to a late game. This deck usually wins between turn 4 consistently and turn 6. So have a good night. Peace out. Keep playing.